Before we start, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Only 2% are subscribed. At 1,000 subscribers, I'll be posting a special video. My name is Evan and I am 22. I crushed the rescue puff under my thumb and got nothing. My chest seized like a fist closed inside it. I kept smiling at the counter anyway, like an idiot. Then my vision pinched tight around the edges. Evan, move faster, my manager clapped once near my ear. His hand cut the air like I was a dog. I tried to answer, but my throat only clicked. I nodded hard, hoping nods could count as oxygen. It didn't, and he noticed. He leaned in with that fake calm tone. You good, or are you about to make this my problem? I forced a laugh, and it sounded wet. A customer stared at me like I was contagious. I pretended I was fine because pride is poison. I gripped the counter and slid my feet back. My hands went numb first, which felt unfair. I tried to step away, but my legs lagged. Someone behind me hissed, "Dude, sit down." I shook my head and nearly fell forward. The room tilted and the noise sharpened. I heard cups clatter, then a chair scrape fast. A coworker caught my elbow and I jerked away. I hate being touched when I feel weak. That choice almost put my face on the floor. Stop fighting it, her voice cracked like she was scared. She pointed at a chair, then at my shaking hands. I sat hard and my lungs still refused. My heart hammered like it wanted out. I realized I was losing the argument with my own body. My manager appeared again, phone already in his hand. He kept his voice low, but his eyes were sharp. If you pass out, it's a liability. That word hit me worse than the wheeze. Liability sounded like a verdict. Call 911, the same coworker said it like a command. My manager hesitated, then glanced at the line of customers. I wanted to say no because I always say no. I lifted a hand like I could wave it off. My fingers trembled, and that ended the debate. I tried to stand, which was the dumbest move. My knees buckled and I hit the floor anyway. I remember the shock of cold through my jeans. I also remember thinking, this is embarrassing. That thought was the last normal thing for a minute. Somebody knelt by my head and kept asking questions. Your name, your age, your meds. I could not get words out, only broken air. I tapped my chest like the problem lived in my hand. Their eyes widened and I hated that look. The manager hovered like a storm cloud. He told people to keep working, like the register mattered. I wanted to scream at him, but I could not. A customer filmed from 3 steps away, no shame at all. I saw the phone lens and wanted to disappear. The sirens came closer, then stopped too fast. Heavy boots hit the floor and the crowd shifted back. Where is he? A voice cut through everything. I raised my hand like I was admitting guilt. The nearest EMT locked eyes with me and frowned. He dropped beside me and snapped gloves on. Evan, look at me, he said my name like it mattered. I tried to nod, but my head felt loose. He pressed a mask to my face and sealed it tight. That seal made me realize how bad it was. Another EMT clipped a sensor on my finger. He watched the numbers, then his jaw tightened. What did you take tonight? His tone went flat. I shook my head hard, offended for no reason. He did not look convinced, which scared me more. Do not lie to me, he held my wrist and counted. I wanted to snap back, but my pride had no air. I managed one word, nothing. It came out thin and shaky. He glanced at my manager like he expected a story. My manager lifted both hands like he was innocent. He just got weird on shift, his voice tried to sound helpful. The EMT stared at him for a beat too long. Then he turned back and tightened the mask strap. That small move felt like a sentence. They rolled me onto a stretcher with practiced force. My body resisted, then gave up like it was tired. I heard someone mutter, he's so young. That line hit me like a punch I could not block. Young did not feel like a compliment anymore. As they lifted me, my manager stepped closer. He leaned down and kept his voice small. Don't mention work, okay? His eyes begged without saying it. I wanted to laugh at the timing, but I could not. The stretcher tipped toward the door and I saw daylight waiting. A nurse snapped a plastic band around my wrist, tight enough to sting. I tried to sit up, but my ribs fought me. Stay down, her palm pressed my shoulder without apology. I hated how fast my body obeyed her. The oxygen kept hissing, and I kept pretending it was normal. An EMT leaned close and flashed a tiny light at my eyes. Any drugs tonight? His stare stayed steady, not friendly. I wanted to be offended, then I heard myself wheeze. They rolled me through doors that opened like they expected me. A tech clipped stickers to my chest and tugged wires straight. Hold still, her voice was bored, which felt brutal. My hands shook harder on purpose, like I could protest. A clerk appeared with a tablet before M. Why breathing settled. What's your insurance? Her finger hovered over a blank field. I tried to joke, but my mouth stalled mid-smile. Nuns, the word landed heavy and the air got colder. Her eyes flicked up then away like she trained herself. Do you have an ID? Her tone stayed smooth, almost careful. I patted my pockets, then remembered I had nothing on me. I felt stupid for not planning for disaster again. She pushed the tablet closer and pointed at tiny lines. Sign here, then here. Her nail tapped twice, quick and sharp. I scribbled something that barely looked like my name. My hand cramped halfway through, and she did not react. A guy in scrubs leaned in with a blood pressure cuff. It squeezed hard, and I clenched my jaw to stay quiet. Pain, he watched my face like it was a chart. I lied with my eyes, and he saw it anyway. Any history of lung issues? His question hit like a trap. I shook my head too fast, which gave me away. He paused, then glanced at my file like it already knew. That look made my stomach drop because I knew too. They drew blood, then took more, then took more. I kept thinking I should ask the cost, then I didn't. Have you ever dodged a question because the answer hurts? I stared at the ceiling and waited for the bill to appear. A respiratory therapist slid a mask over my face again. Slow breaths, her fingers adjusted the strap with practiced speed. I tried to follow, but panic kept cutting the line. My chest fluttered like it wanted to escape my skin. A doctor finally walked in, and he did not smile. He glanced at the monitor, then at me, then back again. Your oxygen levels are unstable. He spoke like time was expensive. I forced a shrug because I hate sounding scared. He asked when the shortness started getting worse. I started to answer, then edited myself mid-sentence. I gave him a smaller truth because I always do. He watched me trim it down and his eyes hardened. We ran imaging. He turned the screen slightly, but not enough. You have advanced damage. His voice stayed calm, and that was worse. I tried to laugh, but it broke into coughing. He waited for me to stop, then kept going. This isn't an infection we can knock out. He held my gaze like he wanted me to hear every word. It's chronic and it's progressed. The room felt suddenly smaller. My fingers curled into the sheet like it could anchor me. I asked the only question I could afford. So you fix it, right? My voice cracked on the last word. He didn't answer fast, and that pause screamed louder than him. My stomach sank because I already knew the shape of no. He spoke about specialists and options, and I barely tracked it. I caught one phrase, transplant evaluation, and my brain stalled. That sounded like a miracle with a price tag. I blinked hard, trying not to look like a kid. A social worker stepped in while the doctor stepped out. She carried forms like they weighed nothing to her. Do you have someone to call? Her voice turned gentle on purpose. I almost said yes, then I remembered the strings attached. She asked about money without using the word money. Do you have stable housing, stable support, stable income? Each stable landed like a slap I couldn't dodge. I kept saying yeah until my own voice sounded fake. She pointed at another signature line, then another fast. These allow us to discuss care and billing and follow-up. Billing hit my ears like a siren I couldn't shut off. My hand hovered because signing felt like surrender. I signed anyway because I didn't see another move. The social worker nodded once, then slid the papers away. Okay, that single word carried a lot of weight. Then she added, we need to talk about next steps, and my throat closed. I yanked the discharge papers from the nurse and shoved them down. My fingers kept slipping like they forgot how to grip. Do you understand the warning signs? She held my gaze. I nodded too fast because I wanted out now. The social worker blocked the door with her clipboard. Before you leave, we need a plan, her heel planted firm. I pointed at the hallway like it was an escape route. She didn't budge and my patience snapped in half. Who will drive you? She tapped the form with one nail. I stared at the blank line and felt my face heat. Rideshare, the word sounded brave, which was a lie. Her eyebrows lifted, and I knew she hated my answer. A respiratory tech wheeled in the gear and started talking fast. Keep it upright, his hand drew a strict little arc. I watched the gauge like it might judge me. Then he added no smoking near it and my stomach flipped. I signed one more sheet, then another, then another. Every line felt like I agreed to be a problem. The clerk glanced at the insurance field again, still empty. Her silence landed harder than any lecture. Outside, I stopped cold at the curb. The rideshare icon spun like it was mocking me. A passing car honked and my chest jolted with it. I realized I could not even stand long, alone. The driver arrived and stared at the equipment. You sick, he leaned back like I might leak. I'm fine, I said it on reflex, then regretted it. He shrugged and the trunk closed with a final thud. I held my breath during every turn, which was stupid. The driver kept glancing at me through the mirror. You want me to hurry? His voice carried that wary edge. I swallowed and shook my head because fear makes you polite. At my building, the walk to the door felt endless. My hand shook on the key like it was someone else's. I fumbled twice, then forced it in on the third. The lock clicked open and I still froze. Kyle stood in the hallway, arms folded hard. What is that? His chin jerked toward the equipment. Temporary, I tried for casual and missed by miles. He stepped back anyway, like my bad luck was contagious. He followed me inside and watched every move. You went to the hospital and didn't call me, his voice rose. I hated that he was right and hated him for it. I didn't want a scene, my mouth made excuses before my brain. Kyle pointed at the tubing like it owed him money. So what now? His hands spread wide, palms up. I lifted the discharge papers, then dropped them on the table. He read one line and his face changed fast. Advanced damage, he read it out loud, then stopped. His eyes flicked to me, then away, then back. Dude, that was all he had and it still hit. I stared at the floor because looking at him felt too raw. He asked the question I feared most. How are you paying for this? His voice went quieter, not kinder. I opened my mouth and nothing came out. Kyle exhaled through his nose like he already knew the answer. I grabbed my phone and opened a new post. My thumbs hovered, then slammed words down in bursts. Sincerity felt risky, so I tried sarcasm first. It failed and I deleted it before anyone saw. I started over with the ugliest truth I could handle. I wrote about failing lungs and failing everything else. I wrote like I was confessing to a crowd in the dark. Then I hit post and the screen flashed back at me. Notifications arrived like a swarm. Some people offered tips, some offered prayers, some offered knives. One comment asked for proof and my jaw clenched. Another comment typed my full name, spelled right, and my blood went cold. My phone lit up at 7:04 a.m. and I answered wrong. My manager's voice came through, flat and careful. Are you alive? A pause snapped in the line. I swallowed hard because that was not kindness. I need coverage today, he kept talking like nothing changed. I stared at the tubing and almost laughed. I can't, my voice came out thin and sharp. He exhaled once like I ruined his morning. Then we're done, he let the words drop and waited. I tried to argue, but the sentence fell apart. You can't do that, I sounded like a kid begging. He didn't raise his voice, he just ended me. Company policy, he tossed that phrase like a shield. I wanted to ask which policy kills sick people. Instead, I asked for my last check because pride still bites. His silence answered before he did. You'll get it mailed, his tone turned brisk and distant. I pictured him rubbing his temples, annoyed at paperwork. Also, don't mention what happened on shift. That last part landed like a threat. I pulled up my post again and refreshed too fast. The comment with my full name stayed pinned in my brain. Someone replied under it with a laughing emoji. My pulse kicked hard, then another comment showed my workplace. You ever feel your stomach flip without moving? That's what happened when I saw the next reply. Scammer, one word, and it spread like grease. I scrolled and found a link I never posted. It was a fundraiser page with my face on it. Not my real face, an old photo from social media. The name was mine and the story was warped. The donation goal looked insane and people were paying. I shot upright and nearly choked myself doing it. Kyle rushed in, eyes wide and guilty. Why are you trending? He held his phone out like evidence. I grabbed it and my hands started shaking again. Did you make this? My voice came out ugly. Kyle's lips parted, then shut, then parted again. No, the denial sounded real, which scared me worse. He looked at the screen and went pale. My feed kept updating with fresh hate. One person tagged friends and told them to report me. Another wrote, "We should find him." That one stuck. I felt my throat tighten, then Kyle spoke too fast. I asked for advice. Kyle rubbed his forehead hard. "I used your name in a group chat, that's it." I stared at him and my brain refused it. He flinched because he knew what he did. "Why would you do that?" My voice cracked into anger. Kyle threw both hands up, palms open and useless. I panicked, his eyes darted away, then snapped back. My mouth went dry because panic spreads. I shoved my phone into his hands. "Fix it," 2 words, and they felt pathetic. Kyle stared at the fundraiser link like it burned him. "I don't even know who made it," he whispered, and I believed him. I opened the comments and started replying too fast. "Not me," I typed it, deleted it, typed it again. Every reply sounded guilty, no matter how I wrote it. Then someone posted a screenshot of my post as proof. That screenshot was real, then the caption twisted it. They circled lines I wrote and called it manipulation. A stranger wrote, "He's playing you." My chest tightened and I couldn't tell if it was fear. Kyle tried to message the group chat, fingers flying. "What group chat?" I snapped because I needed names. He hesitated, and that hesitation ruined the room. My pulse surged because hesitating means hiding something. "It's a local community group." Kyle wouldn't meet my eyes. I hated how careful he sounded all of a sudden. "You posted my name to strangers." My voice dropped low. Kyle's shoulders sank and I saw his regret too late. He handed me his phone and I scrolled the thread. My name sat there like a target pinned on corkboard. People argued about me like I was a scam case file. Then I saw the message that started it from Kyle. He didn't ask for help, he asked if he should warn people. That wording punched me right in the gut. You know what warn people means, right? It means I became something dangerous in his head. Kyle started talking, fast and defensive. "I meant warn them you were sick, not like." "Stop," I cut him off with one hand up. He stopped and the quiet felt loud. I tried to call the fundraiser site support line. The automated menu kept looping like a joke. I hammered options until my finger hurt. Then the call dropped and my screen filled with new notifications. A new comment appeared under my original post. It read, "Send proof or admit it." My jaw clenched so hard it hurt. I realized I was being tried in public. I pulled up my hospital portal and took screenshots. Wristband, discharge summary, follow-up notes, everything I could grab. I didn't want to share it, but I needed a shield. Then I paused because sharing proof shares more than proof. Kyle hovered in the doorway like he wanted to help. "Maybe don't post medical stuff." His voice stayed careful. I snapped, "So what? I just let them bury me." He looked away and that answered plenty. I messaged a moderator and got an auto reply. I reported the fundraiser page and got a ticket number. I sent the ticket number to my comments like it mattered. Someone replied, "Nice fake email," and my stomach sank again. My manager called again and I nearly threw my phone. I answered anyway because anxiety loves punishment. "I'm seeing posts about you." His voice held blame. "Did you use our store to scam people?" he asked. "You're kidding." The words came out sharp and stunned. He didn't back off, he doubled down. "We have a reputation." He said it like I was trash. My hands shook because now even he believed it. "I'm sick." I forced the words out slow and clear. He scoffed and that sound made me want to scream. "People get sick." He paused, then added, "People also lie." I felt heat rise behind my eyes and I hated it. "I never made that page." I pushed the sentence hard. He didn't answer and that silence tasted like loss. "Don't contact staff." He ended with that like an order. Then he hung up and I sat there shaking. Kyle started dialing someone and held a finger up. "Who are you calling?" My voice went cold. "My cousin knows a cop." Kyle sounded proud for half a second. That pride died when he saw my face. "Do not drag cops into my apartment." I spoke fast. Kyle froze, phone still at his ear. "Then what do we do?" His voice went small. I had no answer and that terrified me. The fundraiser total jumped again while we argued. Some strangers were donating out of spite, I swear. Others donated to expose me, like it was entertainment. I watched the number climb and felt sick in a new way. I posted a comment under my own thread. I didn't make the fundraiser, simple, clear, boring. Within minutes, someone replied with my address half right. Half right is still too close, right? Kyle locked the door without asking, hands shaking. He checked the window like we were in a storm. I hated that my life turned into a barricade. Then my phone buzzed with a private message, and I froze. The message read, "Tell the truth or we will." No name, no profile picture, just those words. My stomach dropped like an elevator cut loose. Kyle saw my face and leaned in, whispering, "What is it?" I didn't answer him. I opened the message and typed back. "What do you want?" My thumb hovered over send. I stared at the screen because sending felt like agreeing. Then another message popped up, and it was worse. It was a screenshot of Kyle's group chat post. The sender circled "warn people" in red. Under it they wrote, "Your roommate thinks you're dangerous." I stared at Kyle and he couldn't look back. Kyle tried to talk, but his words tripped. "I didn't mean it like that." His hands shook in front of him. I wanted to believe him, and I also wanted to run. My chest tightened because both feelings can be true. I refreshed my post again and saw a new top comment. It said, "He's deleting evidence, screenshot everything." My throat went dry because I hadn't deleted anything. But now the story was writing itself without me in control. I opened my camera and recorded my hands on the discharge page. Not for drama, just for proof that existed in real time. Kyle watched like I was filming a confession. Then my breathing hitched and the mask wasn't enough. The door slammed shut behind Kyle in his phone call. I could still hear his voice drifting through the walls. I couldn't tell if it was fear or guilt in his tone. It didn't matter though, none of it did. I opened my phone again, another notification, another lie. This time, someone had uploaded a screenshot of my post. They'd blurred out the parts where I'd tried to prove myself. Instead, they highlighted the words that sounded suspicious. Untrustworthy, the word cut through the screen, sharp and pointed. I tapped the screen too hard, hoping the words would shatter. I scrolled again, and the damage was everywhere. They'd found every crack and put a spotlight on them. I wanted to throw my phone across the room. Instead, I put it down slowly, as if the silence could help. But the silence was a lie. It filled up with accusations. Every new comment painted me as a fraud, not sick, not struggling, just a scammer. Kyle came back looking like he'd lost his fight. He stood there for a moment, then sat down next to me. I didn't look at him because the words felt stuck in my throat. Finally, he spoke, but it wasn't an apology. "We need to fix this," his voice cracked, desperate. "I can't fix this," I said, my voice flat. He didn't argue, he didn't even try. I heard the quiet fill the space between us, louder than anything. "Who else knows?" I asked. It sounded like a bad question. Kyle paused, then shifted. "My cousin, the cop." I stared at him, waiting for more, and nothing else, just them. His words felt hollow. I grabbed the phone again, fingers twitching. Another comment popped up, proof or it didn't happen. I tried, God, I tried, but none of this felt like proof anymore. People didn't care about evidence when they already decided the truth. "Do you want to go to the cops?" Kyle's voice finally broke through. I looked at him. He didn't look like he wanted to hear my answer. I shook my head, "No, not yet." He nodded, but it felt like the air was getting heavier with every second. The idea of the cops coming made everything feel real. I didn't want real right now. I wanted to disappear. The thought of them showing up, seeing everything, seeing me, sickened me. I closed my eyes, hoping the darkness would block out the world. I refreshed my post. I don't know why I did. Another comment, but this one wasn't like the others. It wasn't an accusation. It wasn't a demand for proof. It was a suggestion: report the page. It's illegal to fundraise under false pretenses. I froze. Could it be that easy? I looked at Kyle. His eyes were full of doubt. I could feel the tension like an electric charge. But I had nothing left to lose, did I? I copied the comment, pasted it, and hit send. Then I waited and waited. The silence between us felt like a countdown. I wondered if I was finally doing something right. Kyle's phone buzzed, breaking the quiet. He answered it fast, his voice low, guarded. His face dropped as he listened. I knew it wasn't good news. "Cops?" I asked, already dreading the answer. "Not the cops." Kyle's jaw tightened. He handed me the phone. It's someone from the fundraiser site. I felt my chest tighten, my fingers hesitated. I took the phone, the voice on the other end was businesslike. "We've received a report about your campaign. We're investigating." I wanted to hang up, but I couldn't. They were taking it seriously, they were listening. I didn't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. "Is there anything else?" the voice on the other end asked. I wanted to scream, I didn't trust them. But I had to, didn't I? "There's nothing else," I said, the words barely escaping. I put the phone down, it buzzed again and I didn't touch it. Kyle looked at me, eyes wide with questions. I didn't know how to answer them. The doorbell rang, we both froze. Kyle glanced at me, then rushed to answer it. I didn't get up, I didn't move. Not yet, not until I knew who was standing there. The door creaked open, a voice called out, but I couldn't hear it clearly. I stood up and walked toward the door, my heart hammering. It was a delivery, an envelope. My name was printed on it, I took it. The world outside the window blurred as I closed the door behind me. I sat back down, breathing unevenly, and ripped the envelope open. Inside was a letter, a single page, but it hit me harder than anything else. It was from the fundraiser site. They were removing the page. "Due to a violation of our policies, we have suspended the campaign." I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I stared at the paper, numb, because now the battle wasn't just online anymore. Kyle sat next to me, his eyes unsure. I showed him the letter and he breathed out. "Is this a win?" he asked, not expecting an answer. I didn't know, was it? I looked at the phone again. Another message, another notification. But this one was different, this one wasn't public. It read, "We know where you are and will be waiting." And I knew in that moment I wasn't done. Not by a long shot.